And we're live. Good afternoon. Today's September 5th, 2019. Approximately, let's just call it 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Olawale Okabola. You should know who I am by now. Sparkus Trading Corporation here to bring you a recap of today's trade and a prep report going into tomorrow. Let's talk about today. Basically, today we ended up with a perfect symmetrical balance. Um, as you know, the market gapped up. I talked about it in my recap report from yesterday about the weak structure below from yesterday using the spike rules, and I also talked about the likelihood of the market gapping, and I also talked about the need for the market to hold the gap. The market did hold the gap, and then I put out a morning report talking about what was going on up above the market. So I'm not going to spend any time to talk about that. If you didn't see it, you can check out the morning today's morning report. Should let you know kind of what happened, and that was the move of the day. Market open, traded higher. There's a bunch of light volume going back into. I'll show you. Okay, we gapped. I talked about this range yesterday, so you can review the report. Bunch of light volume in this range. We traded higher and tried to go get it as much as we could. So you had folks selling, still selling because they thought that, okay, we gapped, I don't know how many points, and the market should trade lower. They were going to short it mechanically above the overnight high or prior to the overnight high. They did not realize that they were adding more fuel to the fire because they did not know what was against them. So, of course, we took advantage of that, got those folks to cover. Then those who were laggard getting in the market, thinking the market's going higher, the market forced them to liquidate. Then we pretty much balanced for the rest of the day. And so those who tried to trade or get anything for the most part of the day, if you didn't take quick trades and realize that the market was just rotating, you probably got chopped alive. Oops, don't want to do that. So here we go, and we got a point of control that's 11 wide. So let's go into the prep report for tomorrow. All right, we're still in one time frame and higher. Boop, take that back. We're still one time frame and lower on the monthly. We're in the 2 month balance area. I've talked about this since the beginning of the week. Please refer to all the reports this week to get you up to speed. We are currently trading above this 2 month balance area half back, approximately 60 points. So I talked about a clue for change on a time frame longer than the day time frame using the monthly chart, appreciating the time frames that are longer than the day time frame, that a clue of possible change was taken out and getting acceptance above this 2 month half back. So we did that a couple of days ago and we continue to trade higher. What supported that, I talked about on the weekly, we getting higher lows, higher lows. We broke out of a 5 week balance area, got acceptance above, but we're still in a 6 week balance area. We're currently trading about 50 points above the 6 week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half back. 6 weeks half back. We're about 50 points above there. So the market is showing something on a time frame longer than a day time frame that it wants to go higher. Going to the daily, we got two back to back gaps. So these gaps represent new auctions. New auctions we're going up. Okay? So if there's any change to this uptrend, of course, we're going to stop one time frame and higher and we're going to get into the gap and see if we can find some acceptance in the gap. If we get into the gap, you don't want the market to come back into range. If it comes back and close back in range, all we had was balancing of the inventory and the trend could still be up. So please be aware of that. Don't get all happy. If you catch a trade and we're into the gap, that's a huge gap to fill. So please be prudent when you're doing that if you're going to do that. Today is basically going to be an easy report. Back to the profiles. I don't need to tell you. We got 11 wide. We closed outside of value. So there's a uh, daytime inventory imbalance. But be careful. If the market wants to trade lower and get into that gap, there's nothing to stop the market from trading lower for those who want to play the daytime inventory imbalance during the overnight. Also, what supports the inventory imbalance? The point of control did not migrate higher. We have a couple of anomalies here, just two, not many. Basically saying that the market just liquidated at the end of the day. Usually with the inventory imbalance getting around the point of control, which it's 11 here, but it's 11 there as well. Somewhere around there, it's a good area to probably take your overnight trade off because all bets are off in and around the point of control. Going into tomorrow, I'm just basically going to play what? The balance rules, right? We got a symmetrical profile, excess on the high, excess on the low. We got a gap beneath. So you just play the balance rules. Use the half back as your marker to see whether or not value begins to build above or below the half back. Also, something you might want to consider, I know I am, for the majority part of the day, the market stayed within this balance, right? So I'm discounting A and I'm discounting B because that was basically short covering. And so when the market finally found its legs, this is where the market was balancing majority of the day until end period where it broke. So I will be watching this balance area tomorrow to see whether or not we get acceptance above or below this intraday balance area. And so I'm going to apply the balance rules not only for the day, but for this intraday period. So what are the balance rules? Either break out, accelerate, either up or down, you find acceptance. Either break out and fail, meaning you come out, no acceptance, either below or above. You come back in and you stay back within balance. You come back in balance. The destination, just the destination, it's probably the opposite extreme. For example, you break out here. You guys should know the balance rules, but you break out here, no acceptance, come back in, could rotate back down, or break out below, no acceptance, could rotate back up. Okay? And the third option in the balance rules is you just remain in balance. So those are the things you should be watching for. Those are the things I think will help keep you grounded and on the right side of the trade. All right, that is all I got. This is Olawale Okabola of Spartacus Trading Corporation wishing you a good day.